and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jose Romero.
Happy Nerd Day, everybody, and to you, Eric. I always dismiss you. You're part of the everybody, though. What the hell, man? You're part of the
I know you really, for such an essential part of the show, always dismissed, never appreciated, somewhat underestimated. I don't appreciate this.
I think I estimate you just right.
Just right? Okay, that's fine. I'll take the
proper amount of estimation has been applied to you and your character, dear sir.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take any kind of estimation I get. It's better than what I got. So, Fair enough. Estimate away. But, guys, welcome to This Week in Geek. We are here about all the wonderful news that's out there, all the speculations, and just some fun shit talking as we do here with everything nerdy. And, Jose, what do you got together for this week?
It's a good question. I want to start with this because we started with this last week, so why not do it again?
Sure.
So I figured let's dive into a little bit of Bad Batch. So I want to go as far as say the bad out of the way. It's not fair.
Sure.
But
the unimpressive?
There you go. Unimpressive out of the way.
It's not bad. Everything about it is done well, but not great. Just well.
Right. It's fine. And I got to say, I think I am tapping out. I got to say.
You know what? Unfortunately, it was another one of those this is going to be a character relationship building episode that when season 4 comes around, this is going to matter, which is cool. But I want it to matter now. Nothing matters now. Now it's just I'm watching a day in the life of these guys. They're not even on the run. They've settled in.
Right. I mean, they're not doing anything. What are we doing
here? Say what you will about the A-Team. Every episode, they shot up tons of bad guys. They built something out of a bunch of junk. Explosions galore.
They saved the day.
Conned a woman. BA got knocked out because he doesn't fly.
True.
You had all the highlights in every episode. This was not even a highlight. What's the big takeaway? Tech is smarter than a conceited droid. That's the takeaway. He's a good pilot. But better than a conceited droid. Which, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that what's his name, Schwartzman, who did the voice of Sonic as well?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't catch that. If it was, yeah.
It sounded like what's his name? I forgot his name, but he does Sonic, and he was on Parks and Rec, and he's an improv dude. It sounded like I think Ben Schwartzman is the guy's name I'm thinking about. It sounded like him, but I could be wrong. But very much okay, sure. This is a C plot. They made the entire episode based on a C plot. Look at Tech be smarter and pilot better than a droid.
Yeah, and it was... it was lazy. Wasn't it lazy? Because I didn't just say, well, we need a race here. Let's just take the pod racing and transform it into this. Because it's the same shit. Right?
Look,
essentially, it's the same.
That's the thing. If you're going to do one of those things it's like this, but we're going to change, they're going to spin it on its head. That would have been cool. It was pretty much... Yeah,
same thing. They looked the same. The track looked the same.
That was the bummer. It was okay, so the lady you've been working for, she's got a mysterious past. You could have made that a lot more exciting than this.
I mean, I think we already knew that anyway, and she's not trustworthy. I get it. She's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And listen, I didn't like Omega last season, but at least there was a focal point to the story, right?
Yeah.
She might also just be a complete side
she
character.
Drove
and just
the season.
She's nowhere. Which I it's hard because I guess I can't complain, but at the same time, you built it up, finish it off, right? What was the point of season 1 then, right? We went through all this drama for it.
If she was the MacGuffin of season 1, every other episode in season 2 should be somehow about her.
Exactly.
So, and this is 4 episodes. I mean, we should have had 2 slight Omega-centric B plots at least. At least a B plot.
Anything. It's just no story here. It's just not worth it. It's not. And like I said, that's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not like a terrible show in a vacuum, but there's no time for this.
Still better.
There's no time for this.
Still better than Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't disagree with that. It's a bad Boba Fett was the non-Mandalorian episodes. But yeah, right. Other than that, it's just, if you guys are liking it, more power to you.
Good for you.
I just need more. I need more. There's all style and the substance, and the style is not exactly that great to begin with. So yeah,
Not wowing me. Yeah,
yeah, at
style
all. It's
wise,
kind of
not
disappointing.
wowing.
So, but I'm out. I gave it 4, man. I gave it 4. I gave it a good shot.
Put it this way: when you said don't forget to watch Bad Batch, I was like, I thought, aren't we off that already? But like, okay, 4 episodes, sure, why
I was
not?
teetering, but I
So,
said, I'd give it one more shot. Maybe something changes. Nothing's changed. Because now it was 12 episodes. We've seen a third of a season, and they haven't given us anything.
which
It's too
is,
much.
and
It's too much.
if this would have come out 2006, I'll be like, well, that's cool
Sure.
because there's going to be 20 other episodes because
Agreed.
that's what a season was back then. But if you're doing like 10,
It's a waste of time. Yeah, it is.
yeah,
They need to scratch it. It just doesn't work. At least not for me, not for you, obviously. So this will be the last time we're putting Bad Batch to bed. We're putting in the shelf space next to Titans where it belongs.
Bad Batch,
Bad Batch, terrible Bad Batch. Ugh. So now that out of the way, let's get to some better stuff. Well, maybe not. Depends. I'll get your take in a second.
Necessarily. I don't know how you
Well,
feel
no,
about certain
that's
things.
what I'm
You know
saying.
how I feel about
I
certain
wait, because there's something we'll talk about which I didn't see, but so it could be back to, but let's find out. But before we get to that, a little bit, just a little MCU news. We haven't got anything MCU, even DC. We're still waiting for James Gunn to drop his bomb here. We got 2 weeks left in January. It's cutting it close here, really.
I will say,
a week and a half, really, but
eagle-eyed viewers of James Gunn's Twitter, he posted a photo of him reading out of the All-Star Superman graphic novel based off Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman 12-issue run, which also has an animated movie still available on HBO Max to watch. The movie isn't 100% what Grant Morrison was going for, but it's a nice homage. It's at like 60% of it.
okay.
But that story is amazing, even though it is a Superman who's been doing it for like a good 10 years, which goes against the whole, we needed somebody young.
It doesn't
like,
seem that that's the direction he wants to go with.
If they do All-Star Superman without Henry Cavill, I'm gonna be very angry, which matters nothing. But I will be angry.
I
don't
think they're gonna do that. But again, we're waiting, pins and needles, if you will. But let's go back to MCU. So either way, I read this story, and I was gonna like, I can't wait to ask Eric about it until I continue to read the story. So basically, we have William Jackson Harper. I think he's in The Good Nurse. Is that the show he's in? He was in the Peacock show, The Last Resort, whatever.
The Good Place.
The Good Place. I'm sorry. Good Place. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. I know Good was on the title.
Yes.
By the way, he was casted before. There's a lot of speculation. He's the next Reed or whatever. That obviously it's been debunked, particularly now that it's been announced who he's actually going to play. Some character named Quaz. I'm thinking, who else is Quaz? Can't wait to ask Eric about this character. But apparently Eric won't know either, because this is a completely new character created by the MCU, which we rarely see, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Rarely.
Maybe one or two outliers. I can't think about it top of my head. But he's a brand new character, so that's interesting. He's got telepathic powers. He's a freedom fighter inside the quantum realm, going against Kang. So I guess there's obviously going to be some kind of uprising within the whatever they reside in the quantum realm, whatever, with this guy. So so this could be maybe MCU DC's been known to like take different characters and put them into one, like amalgamation of different characters. So
right.
Quaz, is that any telepathy, anything that ring a bell in terms of the MCU, in terms of who?
Listen, there are tons of telepaths all over the Marvel comic book universe.
That's true.
So it could literally be anybody. I think they're straight up lying. I think it is a Marvel character that they're not letting. Yeah, I don't think they're.
Well, there is a picture of him, and he's next to another character actually. Gentora is in the character who's the leader of the Freedom Fighters. So it doesn't look like Reed Richards or whatever. It looks like he's
right.
He's from the Matrix, right?
All the rumors.
They look like they're in Zion.
I honestly think that he is a Marvel character. I don't think they're gonna be like, you know what, we just killed it the first 10 years. And since we knocked it out of the park with all of Phase 4, let's just make a character because we can do no wrong. I don't think they're doing that. They're like, no, let's just go back to your OG recipe. Make sure the flavors are still right. I think it's a character. I don't think you're to tell until you see.
Okay.
A little bit of nerd me would love to see that this is like the young version of a character named Adam Brashear, which is also known as the Blue Marvel, which is like a Reed Richards intellect level.
Okay.
They're contemporaries. He's got like he's like Superman, as well, but as smart as Reed Richards. Now, mind you, the Blue Marvel in the comic books is like Reed Richards' age, so he also has the great temples as well. So I would have loved like a jacked Denzel Washington to be him. So I don't know if it's going to be that, but like I said, maybe a young Adam Brashear, because Adam Brashear, he does fight a guy called I forgot his enemy, but his enemy is powered by antimatter. So in the quantum realm, an antimatter being, kind of there's a light connection to it. So maybe, but that's the only one I can think about. But Adam Brashear doesn't really have telepathy powers, but he has a lot of energy manipulation powers that could maybe double as the telepathy. But I'm gonna wait and see. But if I had a personal pick, young Adam Brashear.
Yeah, so it seems like with this whole freedom fighter thing, there's going to be like a kind of a Civil War-esque kind of thing going on within their quantum realm. Making the big movie that kept promising from everybody. Peyton Reese kept saying this is going to be an Avengers type level movie.
Right. In the Marvel Universe, the Microverse, which is what the quantum realm is in movies, did have a bunch of rebels called the Micronauts, and that's actually a real team. And they have this like cool character called Tick and a bunch of the stuff. And I'd like to see that. I don't know if they're going to do it. So it might be an allusion to the Micronauts.
Okay.
So maybe that could be something there.
They could have adapted and taken that idea and spun it in their own way. Like MCU has done that before. Obviously, they usually draw from source materials already established, right? Which is why getting Quaz, whatever his name is interesting. For them, because they normally don't do that, right? The characters they've always been established. They may change the characters and all that and some of the history, but the character's name is the character, right?
Right.
So that's interesting. It's interesting.
As long as it's not as bad as the Robin reveal and the Dark Knight Rises, I'm in.
What do you think?
That Robin reveal was pretty bad.
You think he's gonna be like? No, he's not. He's not. I don't think he's any. He's Quad. He's just a guy. I think he's gonna be.
I know. I think he's gonna be a Marvel character.
I mean,
and I don't think he's gonna be
like
Robin level.
at the end it's gonna be
Adam,
whatever
exactly.
mentioned, or whomever, whatever.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
So I think they're gonna reveal who he really is later on in the movie.
He's definitely not Reed Richards at this point because he's.
Of course not.
He's got no telepathic powers that we're aware of, and so.
You know what? I because he just did a super genius on philosophy in The Good Place, I wouldn't want it to be another smart character.
Yeah, I think that's what
it should be in a much. Because here's the thing about the character he played in Good Place. Whenever he took off his shirt, the dude is ripped. The dude, he's so ripped. When I saw him without a shirt, I said the same thing about him when I saw Jonathan Major without a shirt. Why is this dude not a superhero yet? So he's got the build.
Kind of because he's a lean rip, right? Major's a big and more bulkier.
Yeah.
He's jacked. You see him in that Creed 3 trailer. He's jacked. Yeah, so good for him. But yeah, so let's see. So we got 3 weeks away, I think, maybe before. I don't know. I'm not sure when I'm watching. I'm still waiting to get word on that. So looking forward to that. Like I said, fingers crossed for a good start for the MCU because I can't anymore. I can't. I don't want a bad batch. The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I want a solid like it doesn't have to be a home run, but like a third base, like crack.
Yeah,
like I want that.
We need a good triple, right? We need
good
something.
Triple, man. A good triple does a lot of work.
Exactly. I don't need a home run, not yet. Anyway, we need to get at least one home run this year at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But which could be Guardians for all I know. But either way, so that's an interesting bit of news. Let's go back to the TV side. This is what we were referring to earlier. Velma, which came out on HBO Max recently, and I was planned to watch it. A couple people I knew saw it before, and they really just said, "Don't bother." I know I don't let that deter me. I was jump on late. A couple of people saw it when it came out, and they're like, I heard nothing good about this, to be honest with you. So Eric, you wanted to talk about it, so I'm gonna let you tell me. Is this all right? Is this Doom Patrol? Is this Titans?
Oh, it's not Titans.
Okay.
But it's not Doom Patrol either.
Okay. Fair enough.
What it is trying too hard.
Okay.
There's elements that could work, but they're overcompensating, overselling. Like they're trying to be artistically. This is visually. I really like the show.
Okay.
Like art style, I was like, it is. There's a lot of animation, frame rates, everything is. It's not like flash drivey anime, flash animation. It's like you could tell they've taken the time to make all the it looks really pretty.
Okay.
And there's some things that like and they're trying to be very funny, but they're trying to be meta funny like Harley Quinn or like Deadpool. But it's instead of like let's just go for the best joke, it's always like look how many jokes we can do.
One of those. I got
And
you.
so it's like, yeah, I get it. That's funny, but can we move on? Like nothing you're doing now. You're just doing different versions of the same two things you said in the beginning. Like, so I'll give you an example. Spoiler alert. This is for the
Yeah.
first like 3 minutes of the episode, 2, 3 minutes episode. They are making fun of shows like a lot of the shows at the CW and some of the stuff on HBO and stuff like that, where they, when the show comes on, it says warning, mature content, nudity, violence, self harm. Most and their whole joke is anytime a show says there's nudity, it's usually in the first episode because they try to hook everyone in, and they're hoping and so there's just a ridiculous amount of pseudo and full on nudity all over the place to make you go, oh, that's kind of and the first two jokes you're like, cool. Then there's like four more, and like, all right, that was just as good as the two you did. And then there's another type of joke, and then the nudity keeps coming in, and then they tag all the future nudity jokes with like a bi girl meta comments, what's happening, as if she was like a horny 12-year-old dude. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. All like, great job, guys. Gold stars all around. What are we doing? Like, I get it. You made every joke that this scene could have. You did it. No one's gonna say you guys did not earn every hour they paid you. But we could have just done the first two, maybe three jokes and moved on. And I was like, all right. But that's what the whole show is. And I know some people are like, oh, well, they're going woke because they made Shaggy like a black kid, but like he doesn't do drugs, and that's like the big joke. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. Like I'm not mad at it, but I'm also like that sounds to change Shaggy's character just so you can say I don't do drugs, they're bad. It's a very one note joke.
Oh man.
It's always he's always gonna be like, because it's drugs and that's bad. And I'm like, they didn't give him any other personality traits. So he could do like it's what like
he's a prop, essentially a prop.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like if you make a character who says, "I'm like Quentin Tarantino. I love movies." There's tons of different movie genres and references you can do because he's a fan of movies. He can comment on the tone, the structure, the type of characters, the setup, the trope. I don't do drugs.
And that's it.
Okay. I mean, Shaggy does drugs, so I guess you're a less fun version of the Shaggy that I know. How is it that the white guy's cooler than the black guy? It is very, very
That's
edgy.
an egregious error.
Listen, you want to talk about pushing the envelope? There's the envelope. You made a white guy cooler than a black guy. Wow. And then there's no Scooby in it, but I'm like, the whole thing is like it's Velma's show, and she's talking about how she sees or her take on how the team first formed. And I just found out recently that there was a interview with the creators. Like, oh, we didn't ask Scooby because Scooby's a kid show. We're trying. I was like, first of all, if you don't think you could make a mature content comedy with Scooby in it, that shows that you don't understand how fucking good Scooby is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It makes like if anything, Scooby gets to be the like his mumbling could be so many jokes of inappropriateness, of drug jokes, of like jokes about how like maybe people thinking he's a girl dog, so you get to say bitch a lot. There's a lot of fun you can do with Scooby Doo. Maybe Scooby is like trying to smell like a thing. So and he's at a drug party. He says cocaine, and he's just acting really weird. Like you can do a lot of weird, silly stuff with Scooby Doo. There, you don't have to exclude that character to be adults. If your show
nonsense
is wallowing in so let's say South Park and Family Guy are the smartest, dirtiest, most offensive jokes. It is college level debauchery. This is an entire show made by the smartest high school seniors, but they all sound like they're really edgy 12-year-olds. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And it's such a Minnie Kaling in it, and she's great. And they
She
made
is
this
great.
Velma gay,
She's great.
which is something that should have happened like 15 years ago,
Right. That
and
that,
it's
that I like. You know,
wasted.
they finally. Okay, finally, right? Here we go.
Yeah, but
Perfect.
it's wasted on this show as it is right now. Maybe like 3 episodes in, because like there's only 2 episodes.
Sure.
Maybe 4 episodes in, the show turns that beat, and now you're like, this is the show. But right now, but you know what? It has more direction than Bad Batch.
Well, okay. Well,
So I
that
mean,
doesn't surprise me because this is we talked about it was the lack of direction in the show, but fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like I said.
so if I'm gonna be brutally honest, it's a C show.
Oof.
Brutally, if I'm being
Right.
brutally
And
honest,
look,
it's a
that's
C.
what we're about here. You know, we got to be the brokers of objectivity. You know, you got to call it how you see it.
There are moments where I'm like, oh, C plus B minus, but it's fleeting. But they're so they have inklings of like the opportunity. Like I said, 2 episodes, so we don't know yet.
But it's
But
gotta grab you.
as
You
it
do
is
like
right now,
we talk about when you do like weekly drops or even 2 episodes and then one. You know,
right?
you gotta grab them. You have to. You know, the first episode should just set up everything else, right? A show can get better, but if you're not good at the beginning, that's a hard sell. It's a hard sell for people like me who haven't seen it yet. Am I really gonna go back? Eh,
I mean,
I don't
listen.
know.
Say what you will about people who and from people who've never seen it to the people who have seen it. The first 2 episodes of Moon Knight. First episode ends with a monster no one can see but him, and he becomes a Moon Knight for the first time and beats the crap out of the monster. Like, what happened? Second episode, he gets the suit, he kills that monster, and he ends up in Egypt drunk. And you're like, what happened? But you are interested in what happened.
That's what I'm exactly.
You need boom, and there was nothing.
You got to hit them early, and we'll talk about a show that hits you early. Well, at least in my opinion. Well, I assume you feel the same way. I don't know. We'll find out. But you hit them early, and you got them sold, man. If you can't hit them early, then that's a problem, man. It's a big problem. Like Bad Batch, right? I mean, we out of charity, I gave it 4 episodes. If any other show, I probably would have given it the first 2. Honestly.
Yeah.
So whatever. Star Wars, I'll stick around, but it didn't happen. So okay, yeah. So I would likely not even watch. I mean, look, if you continue watching, if it does get better, maybe it turns a switch in episode 3 or 4. You know, let me know. Maybe I'll invest some time in it.
Sure.
So I'll keep it on the shelf.
I'm gonna give it 4 episodes. I'm gonna give it the old Bad Batch try.
The Bad 4. The Bad Batch 4.
The Bad Batch 4. I'm not giving it Time 3. Okay. I'm giving the Bad Batch 4.
I mean, it's 30 minutes long, I assume, right? It was an hour.
About 22, 28
yeah,
minutes.
Those shows, like Titans 3, because it's an hour, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Bad Batch is 25 at best, with about credits probably 22, right? So you can give an extra episode. I'm fine with that. I get it. You know what? Let's bring the show back up here, because it seems like Velma kind of brought us down in terms of what we're talking about. So let's talk something good, which I know you were definitely into, and that's the final trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3, March 1st, officially, which we already knew. So the trailer dropped. Obviously, I watched these trailers, because the TV shows, it's hard to spoil 6, 8 episodes, 10 episodes of show. It's not possible. You really can't. Not a minute and a half, 2-minute trailer. So I'm like, man, I will watch this, and
looks
so
pretty solid.
It looks so good. I can't wait for this damn part.
Pretty solid. Like, the fact that you got to see Jedis at the end, I was like, man, you guys don't quit. You guys are just like, yes, we give everything.
Yeah, which is interesting. I assume, I saw, we'll not just jump into that right now. I assume that is I guess a flashback or something. It sounds like that's Order 66.
I think it's from Grogu's past, right?
Right,
it's
Order 66. So we're going to get, a little taste of where he came from. Maybe he was
we just might see who saved him at the end.
Exactly.
Because we don't know how he got a Coruscant.
That's cool. I like that. I mean, like I said, you can mind the old material. I don't have a problem with that.
It's Jedi stuff, but it makes sense in the context of the story. It's not shoehorned in. It's not a weird, like, why are you doing this? Like, Grogu is your connection to the prequel and the original trilogy effortltly.
Yeah.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious if that's the case. But that was cool to see. I was like, oh, wow, I did not expect that, because we hadn't seen that in any of the trailers. Yeah, obviously. I
also like seeing all the different designs of the Mandalorian armor. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I like that a lot.
That was cool. I like that. They're going back to Mandalore, of course, which we knew already. They didn't show what's her face. I keep forgetting her name.
The armor?
Oh God, the actress who played what's her name? She was in season 2. The Mandalorian, the female one, the with the group.
Oh, the one that was in the Rebel series as
Right.
well.
God, I can't think of her name. Whatever.
Katie.
Either way, they didn't show her character. Whatever. So I assume she's gonna be in there. I don't know, but going back to Mandalorian, why wouldn't she be, right? I guess.
Right.
But it looked great, man. It looked fun. Yeah, and Grogu in the end, kicking some whatever. It looked like Beast from X Men, kicking his ass at the end. That was cool shit. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm so sold on this.
I
So sold.
like the fact that you're seeing the town from season 1 slowly become better and better per season. But it looks like during that big battle scene with Tar Vizsla's crew, it looks like they're destroying that town.
Yeah, I unless it's not the town, but it looks like it. I mean,
no, because with the IG-88 statue was there, but it was
okay.
destroyed with just a rebar out there. So, and I can't tell if they were attacking to liberate or attacking to take over, but it looks like that town that's gotten so nice in 3 seasons is going to get wrecked this season.
The nerve. Yeah, Carl Weathers back as well because Action Jackson himself.
Carl Weathers with as close a recreation of the Predator handshake as you're ever going to see in Star Wars. That's pretty good.
Those iconic handshakes. Guys are busting biceps, classic 80s trope.
By the way, I showed my kids Predator, and when Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers did the hand thing, my kids freaked out, going, "Oh my God, it's the meme!" So now I feel old.
Yeah, you and me both. But yeah, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be. There's no doubt this is gonna be the anti-Titans, the anti-Bad Batch, if you will.
Oh yeah,
and maybe the anti-Vilma, according to what we talked about earlier. So I can't wait. March 1st, you got a month away, more or less. So I'm excited. Clear your schedule, clear the calendars, if you will. I hope they drop 2 episodes. Yeah. I think they're gonna probably just drop 1, but I would like them to drop.
They're gonna do 1. That's how they always. Unless as some sort of special treat for season 3, they drop 2.
It'd be nice.
But really, you're gonna get 1.
You're gonna get 1. Hopefully, as long as they get away from this 30-minute nonsense, because even Mandalorian did that at times.
Yes.
Please give us a full episode, at least 40 minutes at the least 40 minutes.
45. I want 40.
I'm with you, but I'm saying at least give us 40. Don't go below the 40. And I'm talking about 40 without credits and that 8-minute credit scene.
Right. Yeah.
It'll show 48 when 48 minutes, but let's be real. We don't know how Disney does it. At least 40. Yeah, 45 will be the sweet spot. I would like to see a 45-minute episodes consistently throughout. One less, one a little bit less, fine. One a little bit more, of course. Fingers crossed. That's the only thing that really, it just irks me is that. It just, come on, guys.
And guys, it's one of those things where really just watch it because visually it's great. The speech that the narration they have that Paulo Pascal's Din Djarin is giving throughout the whole thing, it's great to see where he came from, just being a bounty hunter trying to survive, to almost becoming like a statesman for what Mandalorians could be. I'm digging it. It is great. Definitely go watch it. March has just become more exciting.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. We got John Wick and Mandalorian. I don't think I could take that. That's too much for me. My mind's blowing as we speak. Oh my God.
You know what? When I tell my dad that, he's gonna get super excited because I got him into the Mandalorian and I got him into John Wick. So March is gonna be dope.
March is big, man. It's big. So I can't wait for that. But and let's stay with Pedro Pascal because he is making his rounds around the geek world. Now.
Oh yeah.
Not just in Wonder Woman, he's part of that. Part of DC. Part of the Star Wars, and now he's got a part of the Sonyverse. Well, I'll call it that because whatever, right? So we've been talking about,
but not Spunku. Spumku or Spunky. Oh, no. It's not Spunky.
We've been talking about this, the anticipation for this it seems forever, and it finally came, right? The Last of Us, of course, based off the game. Yeah. I absolutely love this game. Best story any video game I ever played, and that says a lot. So it dropped the first episode, an hour and 20 minutes. See, HBO don't know. See, that's what I'm talking about. Doing it right and now in 20 without credits, for Christ's sake. That's an episode, man. Come on. So yeah, dropping the first episode. Excited to see this. A little bit nervous because for you and you and I who are fans of the game, you always are they gonna mess up the story? What changes they're gonna make? It's nervous.
Just watched Uncharted. I have every reason to be scared.
Agreed. Uncharted, which I love, and that's a great story, cool story. whatever. I'm not even. I don't want to taint the show with toxic uncharted, but right.
But what I'm
But I
saying,
got
a
you. But no, I
Sony
got you.
production
Of course.
based on a video game,
Sure.
I was concerned.
Of course, and it's always concerned because Last of Us is that good. And
Yeah,
for me anyway, and I'm going to assume you agree. I don't know, but I thought this was excellent first episode.
it was really good. Not excellent.
Fair
It
enough.
was really good.
Um,
Really good.
and they did a great job of sticking to this material we know, and also making changes and adapting it right without having to ruin the spirit of the story and all that, which I liked, and I liked the changes they made. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay,
Dude, that cold open with the
Yes.
1960s doctors talking,
Perfect.
I was like,
great.
this was so well done. Think of it this way. This is a series, essentially a high budget new version of zombies, right? Essentially, that's what they are.
I mean, yeah.
But it's very different in terms of aesthetics. But essentially, people bite, they turn, they become monsters.
Fair enough.
They're eating people, right? The first 3 to 5 minutes of the show is some of the most psychologically terrifying stuff, and it's just talking to you. It's just one dude explaining a nightmare scenario.
Right.
And the more he explains,
Yeah.
the eerier it becomes. There's no music. There's no surrounding environment. It's just a dude explaining the premise of the game as a scientific nightmare scenario for an extinction level event. And I showed it to my sister because my sister played the game, so we saw it together.
Okay.
And as soon as that was over, I looked at my sister and I went, "That's not part of the game," but that was awesome.
No, that's a great. I'm talking about a great addition, right? And adding to the story that we know, make it even better. Because people don't know the show, it gives them a good idea of what is going on, right? Essentially, and it gets funny because in the game, I think they talk about something similar with the ants and all that. Same thing that he was talking about,
Right.
during the game, right? But you kind of miss it, right? Putting the very beginning, setting the stage, like this was happening here, right? Super cool. That then we go back to before 2003, which the game starts off the same way, different year, but whatever, and giving us expanding that, right? Really diving into the character. Sarah, is that her name? I forget. I think I don't know. Either way, the daughter. Either way, giving us more of her really building it up because we'll watch. You and I watching. We're like, where's this gonna happen? Where's this? We know it's gonna drop. How is it gonna pay off? Is it gonna be as good as the game? And it was. It was a really good, emotional, well done. Pedro Pascal was awesome. He was great in that scene. I was like, yeah.
Like for anyone who's like, "Oh, Pedro Pascal is just a glorified mascot because he's just in a suit," and I was like, the reason why even in it with a helmet on, this dude is compelling is he knows how to emote with his voice.
Yes.
And now you're seeing his whole face do the other 10% work that his voice does 90 on. Like you believe him when he is tired. You believe how much he loves his daughter. You believe how he loves his brother, even though he's annoying as hell. And so when you see him break, you believe that as well. And that's the trick to his character, is you believe everything about him.
The essential piece of this whole series will be that scene, right? When that doesn't work, the show won't work, right? Love how they did it. The chaos, the plane crashing, that was awesome. All that came out really cool. I mean, the way she got killed, it's almost the same in the game. A little bit different of who shot at her.
Yeah,
but whatever. I get it. Again, not a big deal, right? Even her brother, I think he kind of just joined them in the game anyway. He wasn't like, they weren't talking on the phone. He didn't go bail him out of jail. Fine, no big deal. That's cool. Added more, perfect, all that stuff. And they fast forward to now and really set up. It was good world building, right?
Yeah,
that's what they did.
Absolutely,
great world building.
Absolutely,
and how we are with this, kind of demilitarized zone, if you want to call it that, or whatever they call it. This totalitarian society that's being built now as a result of that, and what's going on, and how people are living. No one's living large here; everyone's just surviving, right? That's what they're doing, and they did even a better job in this than the video game of kind of setting that up, which is really cool. I like that a lot. Did you like Ellie? How'd you put that about Ellie?
You know what? My sister said this several times throughout the show. She's like, "What's wrong with that girl's face? It looks weird." And I'm like, she's an actress and she has a face, and she's like, something about the face. I said it back in Game of Thrones. I'm saying it now.
More, baby. Come
something
on.
About her face.
Put some respect to her name, dude.
Looks weird. And I'm like, listen, she was great in Game of Thrones.
Fantastic.
She's great now. I'll tell you how good she is. The last 10 minutes of the show, when Pedro Pascal is killing the security guard that he was friendly with because he wasn't going to let them go, and he needed to save this girl, and this girl was in danger because the dude was pointing a gun at her, even though she cut him, so he totally deserved to point a gun at her, right?
True.
Him killing that guard and that weird smile on Ellie's face.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
That like creeped me out, and it made me like, I spent like 20 minutes going, did she smile like that in the game? I don't remember her smiling like that in the game.
She was tough, no nonsense in the game as well.
But she didn't seem like she took any joy out
right,
of.
Which I like, which is a nice little subtle change that I like because
right,
they showed in the flashback scene when he kills that old lady with the ranch or whoever.
Right,
and his real daughter just like
cries, so it breaks down,
and then here's the complete opposite of that reaction. That's cool, right? And then that's when I kind of help build that bond between them. She's kind of understanding. She's not afraid of him, right? She's like, I get it,
right?
And I want to be like
she's
that.
Like cool with that level of violence, like save me and do whatever it takes to save me.
Yeah, she wants to be like him, right? And do what he does.
Yeah,
That's cool.
like I want to be that.
That's essential in the story. It has to be, obviously, because what they're gonna go through as I don't want to spoil it, but as the series will continue, I assume what's gonna happen. We all know what's gonna happen, but either way. But that was really cool. And my only complaint, I won't complain about the show, and it's to the last scene where I thought they kind of rushed the reveal of her immunity to the virus or whatever you want to call it, right? Again, it kind of happened in a similar way, but it just kind of marinated a bit more. It was just so quick, right? He beats that guy up.
Well, I think it's because they're gonna let him marinate in like the first half of episode 2.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. But it was just so fast.
Because
and the thing is, we know about it, so it's not. But to a new member, a new casual fan who's unaware of the game, like it may seem kind of quick. I don't know.
Think of it this way: the context of the situation makes perfect sense for it to be quick. You kill the guard, alarms are on, people are coming, and you might get shot because they think you're infected. So she's like, I got bit 3 weeks ago. We gotta get out of here. Like, oh yeah. Let's fucking go. Let's just go.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
Because that's really the crux of
Right.
So it was just first thing. You're right. If they let it marinate next episode.
Right. I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen next episode, which is after they escape, they're gonna be like, so what do you mean you got bit 3 weeks ago?
They gotta break it down, right? So
yeah.
They could very well do. I'm just saying, just for now, let's see how that. I'm gonna assume that they're gonna do that, but if not,
I think they did that because they want to leave the people who've never played the game with a lot of questions, and that's what the big question.
I get. Like I said, it's hard watching because
a monster right now.
Yeah, we know. Right? So. Knowing the story, it's just we look at it for different eyes than someone. And I'll talk to my brother when I talk on the watch list on Sunday because he's never played the game, so get his take on that, right? Because he's unfamiliar with, I assume, the story and all that.
Right.
So, but yeah, but nonetheless, the production value is fantastic. I
Real
love
good.
The tone. It looks great. They had the scenes coming up for the season. I'm excited, man. This is really good. Excellent show. I mean, I think, and it's gonna get better. We know the story. We know it's gonna get. The stakes are gonna rise, and I can't wait to see all this, particularly the downloadable content which they got released with Ellie and a girl that she meets, and there's a scene in the trailer with them in the merry-go-round, which is really heartbreaking situation. I can't wait to see that, see how they present that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a big chunk of episode 2 when she talks about how she got bit.
Maybe
because that's what really happens.
I could see it then, or whatever. I mean, it's gonna be like a pause in it. So do it halfway, at least no more than halfway through the season, because it's a big pause in terms of the story. And I hate when I do that shit like late episode, the penultimate episode. Don't do that. But do it early.
As long as you do it second to last.
Right. I would do it like in the 4th, 5th episode. If you can do it at best, right? Because it's cool.
I would prefer, or if they do something where like at whatever story she's telling, us the viewer is seeing what really happened. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that's the kind of way, because this way you can revisit it and things can change, or she can open up about, like, I lied to you before.
That's fair.
What happened was. So that can be a fun way to do it.
There's a couple of the characters that will be introduced, and I saw a quick snippet of them in the trailers and stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, those guys. I forgot about that, which would kind of tie into some degree of what she went through. So, it's great. They're doing such a great job. I have no more worries about this anymore in terms of, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, they nailed the first episode, right?
They nailed it with very little CG.
Oh yeah,
it was just very practical effects and mood setting and world building. That's all they did, and it was fantastic.
And what we talked about earlier, right? Get you in that first episode. You have to get in that first. If the episode would have failed, it would have been a huge disappointment. So
absolutely
hook you in. Plenty of questions left, and guys, if you're not familiar with the game, you should be. Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff coming. A lot of heartbreak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotional show. It should be, and I think it will be
If you
based off that
felt
scene.
any kind of emotion watching his OG daughter die, the rest of the show is going to kick in the nuts.
Yes, I'm saying
It's
there's a lot out. Yeah, I can't wait to see how they tackle that.
yeah.
So kudos to them, dude. I'm super happy about it. Absolutely. An hour and when I saw an hour and 20, I was so excited. I'm like, oh, thank you. Okay, because I did hear that the first season is going to be the game.
Perfect.
So okay, it makes sense as an hour and 20 because there's a lot of material they need to cover. I mean, I don't know if
Right.
every next episode might be 50 minutes, what I know, but at least they came out guns blazing, an hour and 20. That's Disney. See, Disney, that's how you do it. They tell your story. It's okay if you go above 40 minutes. It's not a crime.
And Disney, and when I say Disney, I mean Marvel, DC, all the Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rest on your laurels. Like, well, everyone knows the IP, so let's just take our time. Like, no, man.
No.
Come in with you got to have a solid haymaker.
Of course. Because these shows succeed if the casual fans involved. Let's be honest, right? The gamers alone won't carry the show. And, I think this was the second highest debut for HBO since 2010. Only beaten by Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, obviously, which is
sure,
obvious, of course.
But
that's an established property.
But for a new IP,
correct,
in terms of like TV series, to come in like that, that's
the kind of show where the numbers could gain more.
Right.
Obviously, it goes nice. I started at 4.7 million. It's gonna go up, right? If the word of mouth, you gotta watch the show, and that's how it works, right? Obviously, because even Game of Thrones started at 10 million and increased throughout because people are talking about you gotta watch it, etc., etc. So yeah, absolutely, you can't wait to talk about it. I hope let the momentum continue. I'm excited about the show, absolutely. But that being said, those are the nuggets for this week. But we're gonna do a little bit of that pitch, please. We're bringing it back. Third episode in a row. Usually when it's slow news day, we're gonna, do something like this to kind of have a little fun, joy. You let your imaginations run amok, if you will. We do the first week. I forgot. The first week was
First week, I think we did Invasion of the Body
Snatchers. We did They Live. The second
They Live, which is I noticed we're sticking a very alien theme.
It just kind of, you're right, but it just kind of stuck. I don't know. Like I said, I was reading those stories and then I just popped in. Oh, great! They Live.
Sure.
Why not? Right? I love They Live. So let's do it again. So Eric, I mean, what is it that we're pitching?
So I was thinking about this, and this is a movie that me and my kids saw recently that I haven't seen in a very long time, and I was taken back by how awesome and ridiculous it is. And I was like, I wonder what it would be like if we did something like this now. So, do you remember the movie Krull?
Oh my God. I remember the game Atari. I think it was Atari. Am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe, but I remember the game. I remember seeing the movie like, oh my God, I was probably your kid's age, maybe a little bit older, but
So
as much as I remember the movie is the title, and I kind of see the main character. He got didn't have a beard or something. No.
Yeah, he got a beard, and he had like that 5-star.
Yeah, the 5-star thing.
He would throw, right?
Throwing a star or whatever.
So basically, think of what I loved, what I was amazed about Krull. Krull felt very Masters of the Universe to me. It was sword and sorcery in the future with space aliens. So
here we go,
you had like. So it to me is like if you got to do if you really wanted a He-Man but you couldn't do He-Man, if you wanted to do Star Wars but you wanted like real magic, Krull was where you came and you mashed the two together. And the whole premise was they got invaded by this species that conquers planet by planet. They kidnapped their master was like a magic demon monster from another dimension. He had to like almost seduce her like in Legend to finally take over the planet, and they were able to stop him with the Krull, and they beat him. And so I was thinking, Jose, Hollywood comes up, and they have a giant truck of money, and they're like, you can't use this money for yourself or to help the world.
Bastards.
What you can do is make a blockbuster movie called Krull. We need a sword and sorcery world that gets invaded by space aliens, and it makes sense. This works. Think of He-Man. What do you got for us? Who would you want to do in this world?
I was looking at the cast right now because I remember who was in it, and Liam Neeson Shocked me.
Oh yeah,
He's in.
he's
I
a
don't remember
giant.
that at all. To be honest,
He's a cycloptic giant. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wow, Liam Neeson.
Which, by the way,
man's got to
the,
eat, so I get it. Fine.
do you want to know what the curse of the Cyclops on this planet is?
No.
Every Cyclops knows the day and how they're gonna die.
Interesting.
They are aware of it. There's also horses that can run so fast that their hoofs catch on fire and they can start running on the sky. It's awesome.
It's classic 80s nonsense.
It is classic cocaine. What's on the studio?
So much cheese in those nachos. It's not even funny. I get it. But I wish I remember more of the movie to really get into it. But I'll say this off the top of my head, because I saw the cast list. I'm looking at the main guy, which I don't know who he is, right? Nobody, I guess. Chris Pratt just comes to mind, dude.
You know what? I actually was thinking the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's got that look, and I keep thinking Star-Lord, but it's a very similar character to Star-Lord. In my head, I'm thinking something like that, right? I think you need someone who can, because this has to be very tongue-in-cheek, right? You can't do a serious take on this one because this is not going to work. That's not happening. So I think Chris Pratt fits that. He can do that kind of comedic thing, very likable. I think it works really good. That or Flash Gordon, by the way. But other way, different conversation. I think he'd be great for Flash Gordon too. Let me just throw it out.
I mean, you know what? I go another way with Flash Gordon, but that's just me. I go another way with Flash Gordon.
Different conversation, different pitch, please.
Sure.
Either way. But I think Chris Pratt would be ideal for that. In my head, just the first thing that popped up. I'm thinking of the tone of the film. And I don't know why Matthew Vaughn popped in my head in terms of director, who did things like Kingsman, The First Class.
That's yes.
You know, he can have a lot of fun with it. Still keep. You know, he's great with action. You know, really good with action and the style. Nice update to an '80s.
So we're gonna lead because this movie, the comedy is very broad. And when it happens, it doesn't happen all the time. Mm-hmm. There's a sidekick character who's like a bad wizard. And so he is the comic relief. So with Vaughn and Pratt in charge, you're automatically upping the stakes of everyone's comedy because Vaughn knows how to make things be funny on film, and Pratt is a great performer, improver, comic chops from Parks and Rec.
Exactly. You have to keep it kind of light, right? But still,
absolutely.
Because Matthew Vaughn, watch something like Kingsman, right? It's got great moments of levity, but the action, it fits in, the tone, it's over the top, but not to the point where it's ridiculous.
Even watch X-Men First Class. There's some legit funny moments.
Great. And he knows how to direct action, and he does it really well. So this movie's gonna need that extra little special because you need something to sell this movie. It's because no one's gonna know Kroll. No one's gonna know what the hell Kroll is at the end of the day. I don't even remember that movie. When you brought it up, I'm like, oh my god. A female lead. I'm trying to think of a female. I know there's a female lead. Wasn't there someone a love interest in the movie? Am I wrong in that?
There is. It's the princess that gets captured by the alien warlord, who's like a demon, who's like trying to not possess her, but like not infect her, but it's getting close. Seduce her. He's trying to seduce her into joining him so he can be allowed to take over the planet. So that's what he's trying to do. If I could pick anyone to be the love interest, and this is because she is a little bland in Kroll. She's an 80s love interest. It means
damsel in distress, and you got to update that. That doesn't work anymore. Agreed.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah.
You know who I would get? I forgot her name, but the girl who was the new Laura Croft.
Oh, Alicia Vikander.
I would get her because I want to up her action, and I want a girl who's just off the jump physically is pretty enough that you can understand why Chris Pratt would go to the ends of the earth to try to save her. And also, when she kicks ass, it doesn't come out of nowhere. You're like, oh, I totally get it. She can do this. So I would get her for the princess.
I don't know if she's got the chops, like the comedic chops, though. I like Alicia Vikander a lot. I don't know.
She plays it straight. Everyone's gonna be fun.
I like
she's
that.
A straight
for me, or someone have like kind of like good banter back and forth.
You want to? I was thinking straight man giving Pratt an option to be the
can work off
good-hearted comedy,
can work off him and all that, and stand toe to toe comedically.
Okay.
I'm thinking either someone like what's her name? Oh my god, not her. My god, what's her name? Let me see. I'll find it. Man, Elizabeth Banks. There we go. Or someone like an Emma Stone, something like that. She does comedy.
Emma Stone.
Right.
I think.
Emma Stone probably better than Elizabeth Banks, but someone
Yeah,
who can
yeah.
has those comedic chops and go toe to toe with someone like Chris Pratt. You know, Vic
Fair,
Hander. I just
fair.
don't think she
Okay,
can. She's
okay.
great. I love Vic Hander. She's a great actress. She really is. But
Sure,
she's got the physicality part. I'll give her that.
sure.
But I just don't know if she can go toe to toe with Chris Pratt. I'm not sure.
I,
Emma
I,
Stone
I
could.
was
Emma Stone's
thinking.
got great comedic
I
chops.
thought if she was the straight liner person, which is like more the ass kickery. So even though he's awesome, she is badass, but he's very quippy and she's not. So there's a give and take.
Yeah, I like this. I
That's
like
what I
someone
was
kind of
thinking.
go quippy with him, right? They go back.
Then
They
you
kind
gotta
of
go
go
Emma
at it.
Stone.
So
Emma
Emma
Stone,
Stone, I think,
absolutely,
would be a nice choice. And she's great. I love Emma Stone. She really do. She's
absolutely.
good looking. She's not the greatest thing ever, but she's good looking. She, she can do physicality, and she has very good comedic chops. She's done a lot of funny movies. She really does, especially in the young career. So good. I like to see that pairing.
So now I have two more characters to tell
All
you.
right.
Who would be the essentially the Orko, the bumbling
Oh my
magician,
God, Jonah Hill.
and then who would you get as the Cyclops who will know the day that he dies?
Jonah Hill will be the bumbling one, I think.
You think Jonah Hill? I mean, Jonah Hill's Oscar
I
dude
know,
now.
but
He's not going to do
you
bumbling.
never know. Hey, man's got to eat, dude. You gotta eat. You gotta throw a little money his way. He just pops in my head. It's popped in my head. The other
You
one,
know who I would
another.
get?
I think we talked about him earlier. Maybe we did. Not today, but before. Justin Long.
Justin Long wouldn't be bad.
As far as
Wouldn't be bad. You know who I would go for? The dude who did. I forgot his name. Also, a very funny guy. He did the voice of Olaf on Frozen.
let me see if I can find it real quick. I know. I have it in my head. Josh Gad. Thank you.
Josh Gad.
Yes. Yeah. Good choice too. Good choice.
I think
Yeah.
Josh Gad. Here's the only reason why
He's
is
great.
because
I
I
like
feel like
He's great. Yeah.
Justin Long would be great if instead of being the apprentice, they made him a wizard that like lost faith in his own magic. So that's why it's bad. So if they made it the thing where he's got to learn how to be like believe in himself again, kind of thing, because like magic is a connection of will, and maybe his will's been broken, that'd be interesting. But if you're gonna make it like a straight up fumbling dude, then Josh Gad is the way to go. I think.
No, that's a good choice. I forgot about him. He's really good. I like him too. The wizard guy, he was the other guy, right? Older guy.
No, now it's not the Cyclops. Who would you get as the Cyclops?
Well, Liam Neeson, that's too easy. But it would be cool
I-
to bring him
I-
back to reprise that role, though. I mean, come on.
I got
But
another one that I feel can do Liam Neeson, but like bring a or like okay, this movie was like young Liam, so I want to get somebody who's already older.
like an older,
and
I was
has
thinking older actor
gravitas.
too. That's why Liam Neeson.
Well, not too old, but a little. Like I'm thinking like in his 50s.
Okay.
50s.
Okay.
You know who I'd get?
Who's that?
Josh Brolin.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I can't argue that. That's not bad. I like that. Yeah.
He's got the physical nature because he's gonna fight, but at the same time, he knows how to deliver like a somber and reflective and when he wants to be soft. And I think that's the mark of the Cyclops is that he's a fighter. He knows how to kill these aliens, but he also knows when he's gonna die. And of course, why would you introduce a character who knows he's gonna die unless this is the movie where he's gonna die? So he knows the minute he meets these guys, there's no point in even like fighting them or running away because he's gonna end up where he's got to end up. This is the beginning of the end for him. So this adventure is his last part of the story.
He could be the straight guy out of the three, right? Or the four.
Very much so.
Yeah, because he can play off like something like Deadpool too, right?
Right.
He's all jokey. Ryan Reynolds, he's the straight man, but still kind of throw a couple one-liner here and there. I think that works. Actually, not a bad choice. Yeah, I kind of like that. I can't argue that. And then, yeah, I think, because I was thinking older, but I think that's a good fit. That's not bad. I like
now, the alien warlord, he's a giant alien, basically, a interdimensional alien. So,
isn't he like? I think we make a CGI character. Now we're talking about.
Oh yeah, we're
talking
CG,
about voice now
at
this point.
Who would you get as a voice? Yeah, it's the voice now. The voice of like an alien who is about half as old as the cosmos is. So the cosmos is older than he is, but he's half as old as the cosmos. So let that settle in. He has an empire that he's conquered and consumed and then moved on. It's like Locust, who would you get that could voice wise pull off trying to seduce a princess while at the same time controlling a horde army? Like, who would you get to?
Samuel Jackson just popped in my head. I don't know why.
I mean,
that's a little much, though. I think that's too much.
It's a little much.
It's a little much. It's a little much.
I see why you went there.
But yeah, it's too much. It's too. I wouldn't. Yeah, it'd be funny, but I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't. He's maybe a little bit too old.
I think this one because it's gonna be. That's not bad.
He got the suave voice because it's his voice, right? The kind of suave, baby.
But can he do growly monster when things go bad?
Because obviously, I think he'll pull it off. I really do. I think he.
You know who I was gonna go for the voice, because I also know he's done good voice acting as well. But I know he done voice where he's like lost it and he's been angry. Oscar Isaac is who I would have picked for the big bad for the voice. He's not gonna be there physically, so
that's fine.
But I did like. I did like your Pierce Brosnan as well, especially because when it comes to like the pretending to be elegant, he will be able to sell that elegance.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be hard pressed to find someone better than him to do that part of it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you got a point there.
We just saw him in Black Adam. I thought he was really good in Black Adam.
Yeah, it was great Black Adam.
Yeah, and Pierce Brosnan deserves more work. That's what I'll leave it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyone who's not hiring Pierce Brosnan, you're doing all of us in this.
It's a huge disservice, to humanity, for Christ's sake. Come on, we want more Pierce Brosnan. James Bond, for Christ's sake. Come on, GoldenEye, the greatest.
Put some respect on that man's name. Don't you dare forget.
Exactly.
Mrs. Doubtfire, motherfucker. That's what I'm talking about.
Holy shit! I forgot he was in that. That's right. Yeah, and he was not a bad guy in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Not a bad guy.
A really good guy, yeah. It was not his fault that Robert Williams was being a dick to him. What it is.
Don't forget Remington Steele. I mean, the guy's got a career.
Oh, no, come on, obviously, yeah. Come on, I love him. Yes, I think that fills that cast absolutely.
And like this movie should not be longer than an hour and 45.
Oh no, maybe an hour and 40, an hour and 45 with credits. How's that?
It's got to be one of those like in and out. Everyone is here to have fun. It's going to be a really pretty fairy tale.
That's what
you go with that mentality. We're telling a fairy tale.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing. And we're all gonna have fun. We have a great budget, but it's a fairy tale. It's a space fairy tale. Go. That's how you tell it. It's the kind of thing where when you're an adult, you can watch it because it's fun. And when a kid watches it, it's gonna blow his mind because it's gonna be so bombastic.
Yeah. And this will be a hard sell, which is why I think you need a star power, because the Crow's not exactly a property people that watch.
Not.
Or studios are gonna want to spend $100 million, $120 to make. It's not. Let's be honest.
Well, listen. When you watch Crow in the '80s, I think your budget was like $10 million. So if you can get $100 million, you're winning.
I think like $5 million. I think inflation was a lot lower back then. But yeah, no, you gotta put at least this is $100 million movie. It's too much. It's a lot of CGI. It just is.
Yeah. I mean, I like to do a combination of practical and CGI. CGI mostly for the big bad. Everything else is like practical and CGI. But that's how I like to go about it, because I think that's a great way to depict sword and sorcery with science fiction. Is the sword of sorcery is a very practical effect. The science fiction is the more CG stuff, and have that kind of play against each other. I think that looked really cool.
Yeah, this was like, I know back then Crows, which I think I remember it was supposed to be like, the Star Wars, quote unquote. That's when all these movies started coming out because Star Wars.
Star Wars guys, it wasn't.
Everybody running wide the train. Oh, Star Wars, let's make our own sci-fi adventure. Whatever. It's not that easy. And even for Lucas, and Lucas got lucky. Let's be honest. But with that being said, they all wanted a piece of the action. They all wanted a taste. And Crow's gonna be the next big thing. Yeah, and I do remember that game. I think it wasn't that Atari 2600 game was really bad, or maybe arcade. I don't know, same shit. All cheap ass back then. But yeah, whatever.
If I recommend all the viewers go to HBO Max, watch Kroll, and go, oh my god, this movie is stupid and great, and I want to see this remake. Because right now, what me and Jose just did, that's a remake that's going to get asses in the seats, and they're going to tell two of their friends.
Making remakes of movies that, I mean, The Live was good, right? But it was a B movie at the end of the day, right? But there are a lot of movies which were terrible, but the premises are great, and you can do something now in today's times. And I'd rather them remake something that didn't work back then as opposed to doing something that did work. Right.
That's the whole point of the show, man. Let's not remake the stuff that we've seen 100 times.
And
If
stuff
you're
that
gonna
it
remake
was
a
good
bomb,
already, right? It was already good. I
or
don't.
remake an old one that had like mediocre success and make it better.
Exactly.
That's what we want.
And do something with something they didn't like, make them like it. They sucked back then. It's good now. So Crow's a great example.
If I was a studio, I'd be constantly like my every third movie that I make would be a remake of a bomb,
of course,
like a 20-year-old bomb, because you know exactly what not to do. There's literally an entire roadmap of what to avoid if the concept is cool.
Exactly. There's a lot of good concept films that are just shitty. There are. Let's be honest. 80s was tons of those in the 80s. Well, 90s too.
Tons
of even 90s too. Let's not kid ourselves. But that
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
There's a lot of stuff you can bring back and do it the right way. It's like, take a good idea and just make it right. Execute it correctly. Right? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Out pitch. Do it the right way, for Christ's sake.
So pitch, please. That's what we did. Right after you for Kroll. And Jose, I think that's the show.
That's the show for today. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, nerds from all around the globe, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Nerdsplaining. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel on the Latin Nerd Network here on YouTube, where you can watch not only Nerdsplaining, but you can watch the watch list, and you can watch the Innocent Choice, and who knows, maybe even Pitch Please will get their own show. Wink, wink. And if you like this episode, don't forget to watch all the episodes on our YouTube channel, or you can go to ericdasilva.com, ERICDASILVA, and check out all the original audio episodes. Plus, while you're there, don't forget to buy my album, Adorably Offensive. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to go to our medias, where we have Instagram and at NerdsplainingPod, on Twitter at Nerdsplaining_. Don't forget to follow us and let us know what you thought about it. Tell us what your versions of a pitch would be, what your pitch would be, or what we should pitch next time. It's all there for you. Let us know about that as well. And guys, I think that's about it. So,
bases covered.
I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.